And I want to say this is Big Boy, who used to work with Power 106 here in Los Angeles. And now he's with 92.3 The Real. Both are radio stations here in LA. And yeah, I believe he was a bodyguard for the Far Side back in the days, if I'm not mistaken. And this is back when he was Big Boy. That's him, right? I believe that's him. I was told that was him. That's him. That should be him. Yeah. Anyway, Big Boy. January of 2005. I'm 29 years old and I have a conversation with Big Boy. And this is back in the Power 106 days. And it was a one-on-one conversation. I will never forget it. One thing that he said to me was, and this is word for word, you can't put a number on success. It happens when it's supposed to. Exact words. I'll never forget that. It's one of those things someone tells you and it just stays in there. And so, success later, because I heard that at age 29. Okay. I'm now 46. And success later in life. At first, you oppose that idea. You're not really for that idea because you want it to happen in your 20s, don't you? If you're in your 20s, you want it to happen. And, everyone has their own timeline in terms of when it's supposed to happen. Right? They have their vision, right? Okay, you do your 12 years in school. Okay, now you go to college for 4 years, or depending on the career choice, law, medical, maybe 8 more. Okay, whatever. By the time you're 30, you get out, you're in your career. And by the time you're in your mid-30s, you're established. Boom, success. So about 34, 35, 36, you're pretty much settled, right? So that you can retire by maybe your 50s or 60s. And cool, there's your life cycle. But if everybody's life functioned or flowed that way, then we wouldn't have a whole lot to talk about. So the first thing that I think of is the later successes, the successes after 50, like this guy. By the time his career took off, he was 50 years old. A movie called Street Smart with Christopher Reeve. Now, he had been working before that, okay? And most of you know who this is. In case you don't, his name is Morgan Freeman. And you know his voice. You've heard his voice. He has a very wonderful voice. And 50 years old. It's pretty interesting, isn't it? And there's a lot more stories like this. You think of Ridley Scott. He was about 42, 43 by the time his career got going. Or how about this guy? Charles Bukowski, famous author and poet. About 49 years old by the time things really got going for him and would continue later on. Or how about this person? Helen Mirren. Now, it's interesting with a woman because for women, you usually think, okay, younger, which she did have some successes at a young age, but they weren't as big as what the successes would be by age 51. Huh. And there's a lot of other stories like that, not just with people in the industry, but also with people outside of the industry, people who designed automobiles, fast food chains. A lot of the things that you're into, those products that you use, those products that you buy, some of those things were created by people in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. So is the idea of success really pigeonholed to youth? It's a young person's game. I get it. You're a frisky little cat. Yeah. But there's something about that seasoned individual. There's something about that wisdom. There's something about having a whole lot of life to draw from because you've been through the trenches. You've paid the dues. You worked on this and it failed. You tried this and it failed. You screwed up that. You made that bad decision. You didn't make it here. You're not educated there. Now you got to re-educate yourself, which a lot of people did in 2020, and now they're rerouting. There's a lot of rerouting going on in the last 2 to 3 years now, right? And not all of these people are frisky cats. Some of them are 42, 45, 46, 48, 51, 52, rerouting because of what happened in 2020. But when you think about the successes of the people that I put up, you think, well, you know what? The book is not in on your life yet. There's this idea that everything ends after 50. Who came up with that nonsense? Oh, yeah, life is over after 50. Yeah, we can just pack it in. Yeah, this is the tail end. Imagine if you, I'm trying to think of a number. Imagine if 150 was average for lifespan. 150. As a 40 or 50-year-old, you probably would be like a teenager right now. You know what I'm saying? In terms of mindset. Because if you can live to 150, and keep in mind, we might be looking at the first generation of people who get past 100 without a problem. Okay? In fact, Generation X may be that. I know a lot are dropping off. There's people that are transitioning. But there may be a large sum of us that get to 100 without a problem. And then the next generation will get even further without a problem, to the point to where 120 is the cutoff, 100, but 150. How would you live if you knew that you had 150 years in the tank? Guaranteed. It would totally change the way you think. Would you move quicker or would you move slower? Because remember, if the average lifespan is 75 to 85, then you have a certain amount of time to do this and a certain amount of time to do that. And that's why as soon as you hit 50 or even 45, you start thinking, okay, now I'm on the down slope, right? Physically, I'm on the down slope. In terms of ideas, in terms of execution of those ideas, down slope. That's only because the average age, as we understand it, is 70s, 80s. What if you reverse that thought? What if you change the way you think about aging? Period. Just change it. Just change the way you perceive it. No longer focus on the 50s being the beginning to the decline. Oh, it's over at 55. Oh, yeah, the decline is at 60. Oh, yeah, the decline is in 42. No. Denounce all of that. Take that out of your mind. It's gone. So now you think, all right, create the success at 66. Career change at 55. Idea development at 48. Execution of ideas at 56. Because automatically when you think age, this is what you think about. Physical. Oh, I no longer look this way. I'm kind of all over the place, but success later. Turning that into something powerful rather than, oh, well, we'll see. You know what I mean? Reversing the mind and how it connects to the idea of aging. Forget about the whole age ain't nothing but a number BS. No, just throw that out. I'm talking about the real execution of the power that says, I will do whatever it is you want to do. And I am not pigeonholed to the idea that you have in terms of when that's supposed to happen. Going back to the big boy quote, you can't put a number on success. It happens when it's supposed to.